Hello, it's loud. My name is Luke McCoy. I'm the CEO and co-founder of LIGR Live. As you can tell by my accent, I'm Australian, so I'm very far from home. Thanks for SVG for hosting this event. It's the first graphics forum. Our office is actually upstairs at the WeWork, and we are a sports graphics company, so it made sense for us to be part of this event. So it's a beautiful event. Thank you for coming along. Okay. So we're going to talk around powering the live sports pyramid. I know today we're going to talk very much around Tier 1, AR, VR, all the really fun stuff. I'm going to talk around probably a little bit below that tier and show how we can sort of take the Tier 1 and take it through the sports pyramid. Firstly, what is LIGR? Has anyone heard of LIGR before? Does anyone know who we are? Hands up. Okay, that's better than I thought, Tano. Fantastic. Does anyone know what LIGR stands for, how we came up with the name? It is a tiger and a lion, but it's also LI, Live, GR, Graphics. So we are a graphics company. That's how we came up. We are now part of the Cryonet group since 2023. Does everyone know Cryonet? Hands up. Okay, Cryonet are one of the preeminent dominant sports tech companies in the racket sports world. So certainly moving forward, you'll hear very much of us and Cryonet. What we are, we started off obviously as a graphics company, but we are now an operating system for live streaming sports. We receive streams, we send them out, we cut highlights, we run advertising throughout our graphics. You can run graphics manually, automatically. We are sort of an end-to-end solution and the operating system for if you need to stream your sports from the lowest tier to now we're starting to play in the Tier 1 space. So what is the live sports pyramid? We've obviously all seen this. We know that there is low volume, but lots of money at the top. And at the bottom, in the lower tiers, we've got lots of volume, less money. And so we also know that everything that is required at the Tier 1 is still to this day with fans is required all the way down at the lowest tiers. So we know that fans still expect now, especially with OTT, where we're streaming all the time, the quality expectation has changed from what it was 7 to 10 years ago. We know that we need all of these things essentially on the right. And I guess what we're here to talk about is what I believe connects Tier 1 to Tier 4, which has been lacking, specifically around driving commercial value, is the graphics. I think we would all admit that if we go and watch a Tier 4, Tier 5 game, the difference between the graphics versus what you watch on, if you're watching the Premier League, the NFL, is a massive, massive drop-off. Streaming itself has been democratized. We can see a stream, a lower tier game can have a fantastic HD stream, but the graphics drop-off is significant, and that's what we want to talk about today. So what is the problem? Ultimately what happens is that as you go down the tiers, you think about the technologies that exist in those different spaces or at the Tier 1, they start to drop off where they cannot actually be deployed in the lower tiers. So we know if you've got a Viz engine at the top, that's not going to play out at a Tier 4 single camera game or in an automated camera, which we know is coming in the lower tiers. So what happens is we get different suppliers, we get different production companies as we go down, and you lose the ability to standardize your broadcast. Now, if you're a federation, you're a rights holder, and you own the rights from Tier 2, Tier 3, Tier 4, Tier 5, but you want to drive commercial value, at the moment it's almost impossible. It is impossible to go and do a deal with a brand and inject those brand assets into your graphics throughout your broadcast. It's basically impossible. We know this specifically coming from Australia, which is what I'll show you next. We have 9 member federations in football that cover the country. Over the last 8 years, they've started to stream. It was multiple different production companies, multiple different graphics suppliers that those production companies were using. It was basically literally impossible to commercialize what at the time was the third tier of Australian sports. To the point, 5 years ago, I was talking to the head of commercial at Football Australia, and he told me that the value of the third division football in Australia from a broadcast perspective is worth nothing. Yet it was 2,000 games. Every one of them was being broadcast. And he said that because they could not standardize the look and feel across 2,000 games. They couldn't go and do a deal with pick any brand, Coca-Cola, McDonald's, and run that through the broadcast because they had no way. It was basically impossible. This year, we won a landmark deal with Football Australia. where we are now the gatekeeper provider of production across the majority of the tiers in Australian football. Why this is extremely unique is because we are a technology company. LIGR itself is a technology platform. We're not a production company, but we have the production gatekeeping rights. And what does that mean? Well, it means that what Football Australia recognised was that exact problem I was just talking about, was that there was many different production companies all around Australia, and not one of them could actually standardise across, but a technology could. And specifically a technology that delivers graphics. If you think that football, like here in the UK, you've got the Premier League, the Championship, EFL1, EFL2, and you go all the way down. Australia's in the same spot, but ultimately they had no way to standardise their graphics. And so they went, okay, if we choose a technology partner who then goes and chooses the production partners, at least we can guarantee that our graphics will be the same, and we have design control, animation control, everything that they need to then be able to go and present commercially to the brand, to their commercial partners, and run that through every tier of football. To the point that our friends over at Speedio are joining this as well. Ian, put your hand up. Where's Ian? Good man. We're also teaming up with Speedio, who are going to be automated cameras from the tier 4 to tier 6 space, where at the moment this is contracted for 4,000 games. It's a chance to get up to 20,000 games. But importantly, the graphics and the commercials will be controlled through LIGR at the highest level. And I'm going to show you a video of that in a second. So that last video as well with the actual match footage, that's a third division football game in Australia. That had 50,000 views on YouTube. And this was this year. It had 10,000 people to the game. And the reason why is Football Australia launching the National Second Division in Australia in October of this year. So imagine the championship here. They're launching that. That division didn't exist. Those two teams that were playing are both going to be in the championship in October, and that's the level of interest in essentially this national second division, which would literally compete with our A-League, with our top league. And so at the moment, there's obviously a transformation happening in football, and you know we're super proud to be a part of it. A lot of those graphics that you've seen are sneak peeks, by the way, because they are concepts that Football Australia have allowed me to show today, but they will essentially be launched at the back end of this year and into 2026 for their competitions, which is extremely exciting. And this here, I think, is kind of the main point, is that it's actually the graphics that are the commercial infrastructure as you move down the tiers. But you traditionally have not had graphics solutions be able to scale all the way down, and you haven't been able to maintain a quality level. We also run completely automatic graphics as well as your manual graphics operation. So as soon as you need to get into automated cameras, we can do that and maintain the graphics level. Obviously, integrations into your data suppliers like IMG Arena, Opta, Genius Sports, et cetera, we integrate with them as well. And ultimately, you know, the point of what we're trying to do at the moment is be able to join that vertical from the top of the pyramid all the way down from a graphics level. And what do you get? So if you control the graphics layer, these are also essentially the things you get. And then because LIGR itself is also, we receive these streams, we cut highlights, we distribute them. We have club portals where clubs are logged in and getting highlights, et cetera, that we really are, trying to build obviously a strong ecosystem from the top of that tier all the way to the bottom, as well as also innovating around our own no-code graphics tools as well for people to be able to build and design their own graphics and get them to air, which we know is a strong challenge when it comes down to the lower tiers. Thanks. Have a great day, and that's the email if you want to get in touch. Thank you.